Hello everybody and welcome to Romanceful's Tarot. I'm about to begin here with a reading. Now this is a reading for the 27th of December 2020 and it is a general reading, so it might not resonate with everybody. So it's really important that you take whatever resonates with you and you simply leave the rest of it aside. If ever you do have any questions, if ever you would like to inquire about maybe having your own reading, please do contact me. My information is right below into the YouTube description box. Also, if you do enjoy the channel and you have not yet subscribed, please do take a brief moment of your time to click the subscribe button to show your support to the channel and to myself, and it would be greatly appreciated, and I do thank you in advance. So that being said, we are going to begin this reading. This is a reading, it's a channeled reading with spirit on blind spots. This is a reading that is dedicated to the sign of Aquarius. So with no further ado, let's begin this reading. I'm going to conclude the blind spot reading with a guide message. So let's begin. So your blind spot, I'm going to put your guide right over here. And the blind spot that we're going to be speaking about here is that you don't know, but you think you know. And this is your blind spot. So you received this blind spot because you think that you know everything in a circumstance, but actually you do not know everything. And a critical piece of information is actually missing. You need to consider that that piece of information that is missing, or the awareness, might be something that no one actually sees yet. Or it might be a piece of information that's being provided already by someone from the outside that is simply being rejected by you. Now, in this situation, I have to say that acting from what you know is acting a little bit in ignorance. This desire to be the one who knows is not in, and it's not itself all negative, it is not. But there is a shadow side to the quest for knowledge, and the shadow side is that knowledge is really often used by the ego. And the ego uses that knowledge and that wanting to be right as a security blanket. So the ego is using knowledge to avoid things that it fears to protect itself. In society, knowing more about something than somebody else, it does boost one's social status, right? Which is where the gossip comes from. We become significant to others when we know something more than they do. We become intriguing. We become significant when we are the conduit through which they can get their knowledge fix. So it's easy to see how the ego could, use knowledge to avoid insignificance or personal insecurity, and even the feeling of just feeling worthlessness. So knowledge also helps us to avoid future calamity. If we know that the winter's coming, well, we can stock up on food and we can survive the winter. If we do not know that it's coming and we do not stock on food, then we might just die. So if we are a person who worries a lot about the future, and I have to say most of us all do, who does not trust ourselves to create a reality that kind of feels good to us? It's our security blanket again. It's that knowledge that becomes a tool but for self-protection. It's really about the warrior's best friend. That's what it's all about. So knowledge is often used by the ego to keep itself away from the rocky seas of uncertainty, because really cognitive closure makes us feel safe. So the ego, well, it's obsessed with the quest for truth and knowledge because it is convinced that knowledge and truth is going to keep unwanted things from happening to it. But the unknown holds a glaring truth, like a clam holds a pearl. And that truth is that the state of learning really is higher. It's a higher state of knowing. The open state of inquisition and questioning is a state that's open to all possibilities. So the closed state of knowing shuts the door to further learning. And in a way, knowing is absolutely endedness. You can't know everything about everything. And it's very dangerous to act as if you know when you simply do not know. It's extremely dangerous to act thinking that you know when the fact that you didn't know something resulted in a whole slew of simply avoidable suffering. So, when you receive this type of message, this type of sigil, often you're not listening to others or you're not asking questions. They come up with reasons why other people's ideas don't work, devaluating others' ideas or even credibility. They refuse to explore other options, while defending their own opinion regardless of it being an erroneous one, and ask leading questions to prove their point. So, they make assumptions, and they're simply not open to any other points because they have already made up their mind. So when you receive this type of sigil, you really are in a state of closed-mindedness. Even if you are a better informed person who is finding it extremely difficult to think about problems but from the perspective of a lesser informed person, doing so is really critical in this situation. You are not aware of a vital piece of information, but you are telling yourself and acting as though you know it all. So we tend to act as though we know when we do not know in a relationship, and for this reason, I'm going to tell you that to really love someone in a way in which they feel loved and to create actual resolve is really an interpersonal conflict. You must understand this issue. And I am going to go even further with this, and I'm going to say that you should stop trying to love them and start trying to understand them instead. So when we do not understand another person, we do all the wrong things, thinking that they are right and they're the right things to do. But when you understand something, you know that things are on a mental, an emotional, a physical level, and it is no longer a guessing game. So you need to be brave enough to face what you are trying to avoid by knowing. Open your mind, operate with the intention of understanding everything. Let your curiosity be your mental set point, knowing that a critical piece of understanding, which you do not have right now, will come to you at a time, and it might come from anywhere, and even potentially the most unlikely of sources. So just remember that. Moving on forward to your guide, never judge another. Your higher self is just objectively experiencing. It does not come from a place of judgment. Now, from this perspective, nothing is good, nothing is bad, nothing is wrong, nothing is right. It is just like it is. In the physical dimension, however, your awareness or consciousness is filtered through the human experience, known as the ego. So, the ego, that judges because it's fragile, it's insecure, and it is usually happiest when it feels better than. Judgment is really fear-based, and it separates you from others when your goal is to simply acknowledge your sameness. So your fellow souls have chosen this earth plane at the same time. We just have unique personal blueprints that we're following. So it's not your job to judge anyone else's path. They are just learning different lessons than you are. Everyone has chosen a life that is circumstance and a human form to inhabit that is going to enable them to learn the lessons chosen by their higher self and their guides. To judge their decision making is fool's play. It's the ego that needs this sense of separation. And when you receive this type of message, your guides want you to keep a watchful eye out for your ego. Instead of someone sending somebody the negative energy of any type of judgment, bless them on their way. Instead of disdain, wish them Godspeed and their particular journey. And that is it. Do not judge them. And that is the ending of your reading. So I do hope that you enjoyed this blind spot. We're all a little bit affected by it, some more than others. So it's really important. You don't know, but you think you know. So if you do have any questions you would like to contact me, please do so. My information is right below. If you have not yet subscribed, please do subscribe. And I wish you a beautiful day. Many blessings. Thank you for being there. And I will see you tomorrow with a new message.